Alright guys, welcome to another modern meat target test. I've already completed 2 different 9mm tests and a 45 heavy test. Now let's do a 45 light for caliber test with the Sierra 185 grain jacketed hollow point versus a kind of old standby 185 grain standard pressure golden Saber, which I'll give you FBI data on. We'll be going through the modern meat target, and for those unfamiliar with it, what we have is going through duct tape, then 2.4 millimeters of chest style skin to our upper thoracic analog, 20 ounces or 2 1/8 inch thick of thick bologna, double 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard, so a 1/2 inch total. Then we're going through another 20 ounces of bologna to make sure we're penetrating deep enough at least to get into the orange lung tissue, and then a double MDF on the back to simulate back ribs. We'll cover the whole thing with 4-layer t-shirt, front and back. I've got an amazing correlation to official organic gel data, though I think this is beneficial to make sure we see how bullets react to hitting bone, or these 2 to 4 layers of medium density fiberboard. We're also going to be doing short barrel versus long barrel. Keep in mind we did 185 grain test before with House of Pain, which it did really surprisingly really great from the short barrel CW45, which is right here, 3.64 inch barrel for our short barrel. It used a Sierra jacketed hollow point, but Sierra makes a lot of different bullets. There is a different bullet than the one used in the House of Pain. So I'm very interested to see if we get huge expansion. Check out the House of Pain video. We did 45 versus 357. And here, the second round in the car is the 185 grain golden Saber. When I used to carry this before I got a bunch of mag drops and issues and had the slide replaced and still having issues, look at the previous heavy HST versus critical duty test. I carried it with the 185 plus P golden Saber. And before anyone comments, the 4.5, 4.25 Commander is the longest I have, and the Cars 3.64 is the shortest I have. That's why we're using them. And there we see the Sierra JHP from a McGar magazine, the best magazines aftermarket you can get. And if you're lucky enough, they come with a OEM from a lot of manufacturers. All right, Sierra on the left, golden Saber on the right, short barrel first. Here we go. And another magazine drop from the oh so unwonderful car, apparently. Golden Saber. Nice. Long barrels. Sierra, 185 goodness, and hopefully that wasn't too low. Nope, I thought it was dropping good. I think we did okay. Let me clear these and start to dissect. I'm getting hungry. So, Sierra on the left now, it's reversed, and golden Saber on the right of the pectorals after going through our vinyl skin. Yeah, 45 doesn't suck. It looks like the Sierra maybe expanded a bit faster. Okay, guys, this is the Sierra there, one there. Obviously, totally blown out. Fast, rapid neck, fast expansion. To be fair to the golden Saber, however, I looked at the wound and one, even on the front pectoral, this is the back here going in this way after going through the MDF. As you can see, it's only nicking the meat pec. So I didn't get a fully solid hit from the short barrel with the golden Saber, unfortunately, which caused slower expansion. So you get much slower expansion, but again, that could happen in the real world where it's just barely, going through the skin and then hitting a rib of an animal or whatever. And then, not necessarily the pectoral muscle. So that is interesting there because we see huge holes through the MDF with both of the Sierra bullets, and we see one almost as huge, pretty big with the golden saber from the long barrel, but unfortunately the one with the short barrel isn't fully expanded as it barely got through the meat pack on the front and the back. So this is the lung tissue on the left of the Sierra. We see pretty good damage there, decent damage there, but I believe this is going to be a Sierra. Yep, in the back of the lungs, in the back of the orange lung tissue, that is a Sierra. We see nice, a good expansion. Now, enough penetration, that's up for you to decide. And this is the right side of the path. We got, I mean, I can't believe this one, completely destroyed on the Golden Saber path, and this one looks wide open as well. All right, guys, so here's the front of the back MDF. Here is the back. These are from the critical duty test from earlier. This top kind of blowout is from HST. This is from one, maybe two, actually. Two of the Golden Sabers. It looks like the one on top, even though it was a way higher shot, dropped down low here, and the fully expanded one down there. Now, in front of the MDF, in the orange lung tissue, a little bit forward of the MDF, was the other Sierra. Good expansion. We've seen that in other testers, both clear ballistics, which kind of sucks, and from short barrels. So short barrel lows that expand in 45, especially shorter than 4 1/4 or like 3.64, 3.77 Glock 30. This expanded, but we see no dent. No dent on the backboard. So both short and long barrel. This Sierra, I don't think performed as good as the different type of Sierra bullet in the hot munitions. Please look at that test. We got big expansion, not quite like we did in that. So here's the two Sierra bullets. Both flattened out very, very far. Both big expansion. But we don't know. I mean, it made it to the lung tissue. We don't know anywhere from 9 to 12 inches of penetration, unfortunately. I'm not sure about these, because if both short and long performed fairly basically the same, I'm not sure if you guys are going to think that is enough penetration. Now, in a frontal shot, is it enough? Probably. It's 7.9 inches on average to the heart from various angles. But again, if it had to go through an arm first, I don't know about that, and definitely not a side lateral shot. So that's what we get with the Sierra. And here's the high shot Golden Saber from the short barrel. Remember, it barely was nicking on one side, the pectoral and even the back. So it was barely nicking on one side. It looks like our jacket sheared off. So it smacked the board. We didn't get jacket separation. We did with the 9mm 124 plus P. You're going to want to look at that first Paul Harrell tribute 9 vs 40 video. For that, no, I lied. It's in the plus P versus plus P plus video. Does plus P velocity really matter? You're going to want to check that out. We didn't get jacket separation, but we got jackets that completely sheared off after hitting the board, basically, with only going through a little bit of meat first. So my bad on the high shot placement, guys. It gets very difficult at the end of the day. And we don't know if it did more than 13 inches of penetration. You would assume so, but 13-ish penetration, maybe more. But at least 45 doesn't shrink. Tissue crush on 9mm is 1.78 inches, cubic inches of tissue crush adjusted volume. According to Dr. Martin Fackler, 45 is 62% more at approximately 2.89. So 178 versus 2.89 ball to ball. And plus, it's basically like a wad cutter now. It's going to actually destroy more tissue instead of flowing around in the temporary crush cavity. So this is still work pretty good because 45 ball works pretty good. We know that, and this would have worked even better. So at least 45 doesn't shrink that short barrel, but my fault, it didn't hit the pec. But again, you might not. However, this one from the longish barrel, okay, or medium barrel, a Commander 4 1/4 inch barrel, this one did, I would say, rather well. Kept the jacket, expanded pretty uniformly, and it was indented in one of the back t-shirts, kind of pushed forward. So I give that more than 13 inches of penetration. I give that 13 and a half, 14. maybe more. It wasn't as far as a 357, 158 grain where I'm giving it like 15, 16. But it was pretty darn deep, surprisingly, for the longer barrel. I would think the longer barrel would have been more likely to shut its jacket. So this performed pretty well, pretty well. So the Sierra isn't enough penetration, good expansion. It has done well in other testers. So as a short barrel, cheap load, I've kind of recommended it. Anytime you go shorter than 4 1/4, I say you either got to go with HST or you got to go with a 185 grain. Golden Saber, the plus P version of this, is what I tested today. I wanted to test it, but it would have been unfair and all the people in the comments. But this did really well, and I have FBI data on the standard pressure from a 5-inch, which would be like the plus P from the car CW45, actually. The velocity is very similar to what Lucky Gunner got in the car CW45. So, yeah, this performance tells me the plus P would have reacted just like this from the car CW45. And FBI in March 21st, 1994, exactly, real FBI data. I've done real FBI data no one else has in every caliber. You're going to want to check out those videos. From a 5-inch, 1,037 feet per second, Golden Saber, 442 foot-pounds. Man, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. Bare gel, 14.4 inches of penetration, 0.72 expansion. Heavy clothing, 15.95, so basically 16 inches of penetration at 0.68. So, standard pressure from a 5-inch is going to do really, really good. Plus P from a 3.64 or 377, it's axiomatic because the velocity is so close, given Lucky Gunner's data from the very same car, CW45, 3.64 inch barrel. Plus P from that short barrel would have more than likely given us this exact same performance, which I consider this excellent. I said at least 13.5 inch. FBI got, but I was at less velocity. So FBI got bare gel 14.4, heavy clothing 16. This was from a 4 1/4 inch barrel, so it would have dropped us down to 1,000 feet per second. Yeah, so 13.5 to even 14.5 inches of penetration, maybe, with the Golden Saber. I'm pretty impressed with the Golden Saber. I don't know if I should keep recommending this year or not. If you wanted lower penetration, that was a big concern of yours, which it shouldn't be, about actual over-penetration of bodies. Unless if maybe you had a baby and little kids sleeping in the next room for home defense. If you wanted lower penetration for that purposes, I totally get that. So then maybe the Sierra would be good to go. That's not great, but it barely hit flesh before smacking board. And like I said, it's a flat met plate, like a wad cutter now, a little bit bigger than 45, right? We're looking at like 52 diameter now. And that's over 3 inches of tissue crest, which is like a cheaper 9mm hollow point. That's not bad. That's really, really good. Is it HST good? No, the size compared to the HST, that might even be better than the critical duty. Hold on a second. Actually, you guys are going to have to check out this video. This one's getting too long. The Golden Saber, that seems to be just on par with the critical duty 220 plus P. Interesting, from 185 grain. And is it as good as the HST, though? The HST is way, way, way bigger, though. This did get deeper. So I'm good with this Golden Saber. That's very, very interesting. And the FBI data says it was pretty good from a 5-inch. This tells me the plus P from a shorter barrel is going to be pretty good, too. Maybe we will test that in the future. Like, share, subscribe. Please get down there in the comments. It takes a lot of money, a lot of time. It's very consuming, and I would really appreciate you guys at least dropping a comment. Which one did you think won? Which one would you prefer? Are you carrying one?